Alright guys, we've got a pretty exciting day. I don't know if this video is going to be the same video as tomorrow when we take the GT3 RS to the track, but today I am going to get a track alignment on this at PSI, the shop next door to us. I know there's definitely a little bit left in the car. The car's kind of come from the factory set up to understeer a little bit, as most cars do, and I know there's a little bit left if you add a little bit more camber, change the toe around. So PSI is going to handle that for me today. I think I'm going to chuck some harnesses in it too, because last time I was flying around the car, and maybe that'll be enough to shave a second off, and maybe we can beat the time that I set with the Evo that I was so hyped at, and then it's fun having a little war with myself. All right, so any second now, a truck is going to arrive with another GT350. I've been speaking with a bunch of different places, specifically the parts farm that specializes in parting out these things, and it's just so difficult to get all the little items that we need. So I actually negotiated and bought an entire GT350 from them that was in a front right rack. So it'll be convenient because most of this stuff the fire didn't touch, and we can get all the parts we need, and we'll kind of go through with you guys what some of the stuff is worth, since I will be parting the car out to hopefully recoup the cost of the car and be able to have essentially a free donor car. So it's about to roll up, and it's gonna be an interesting situation trying to get it off the trailer.
You're more excited than your Mustang? No, you're more excited about your Mustang than you were excited about your Mustang.
Can you elaborate?
Yes, you're all excited. I waited on a tripod for like 2 hours now. What are you doing?
2 hours? Okay. I'm super excited to see this thing dropped off. I don't know what my fascination is with crash cars, but just I'm super excited to just pick and pull parts off of it and pop it on the new one.
So you're more excited to buy a broken car than buying a brand new one off the lot? Well, not off the lot, but almost.
I'm excited because it's like grown man Legos.
Yeah, true. I'm actually kind of curious if you should like build the one that you're buying and then take parts from that one.
Here's the problem. So I think the frame is damaged, but the biggest issue is like with all the stuff we're gonna take off of it, it's gonna make it really expensive to use as a chassis, just because I need like the brake lines, the brake booster, supports, to where it's like kind of almost gonna be a useless shell that would cost money to like make decent,
So what you have from that one, you can put on the other one and make that other one run?
The other one does run. It just needs like front suspension bits. So like we could do that, but it's not the same car. But if it has frame damage, bro.
Where's the building? That one has burn damage.
We'll determine what's worth when it gets here.
Damage.
But it's gonna be brand new once Randy paints it. Alberto has been preparing some of the stuff on the engine before we drop it off at the machine shop, just cleaning parts and getting this thing ready. So we wound up having to cut the tie rod because it was so bent. The lower control arm had the wheel with like 4 inches of toe out, some Colette Davis spec stuff. Yeah. So anyway, hopefully this thing will roll off. Apparently it runs, but we'll see. I know the big thing with GT350 is buying them at auction. If the front left is damaged, there's a good chance the motor is bad, just because that's where the oil cooler is, and there's a good chance those engines will have rod knock. I'll be so pumped if this thing runs.
Am I doing the arm to start it?
Sure.
If I start it, I swear to God, if something happens, it's not my fault. It's on camera.
Yep. It's your fault.
Does it have power? I mean, we got the jump box if not. You got the key?
He's right here.
Shit. Try it. Hit the ignition.
There's no power. I need jump box.
Hey, jump box.
Ready? Ready?
Yo! She runs, brother!
I'm louder than yours.
Happy birthday, showman!
Dude, that's 9,000 miles.
9,000 miles?
9,000 miles.
That's a freshie.
Hey, will it do a burnout?
We'll find out later.
Later? There's no time to wait.
There was no guarantee that the car was going to run because I actually intercepted it straight from auction, so I was a little nervous.
You get the fender out of here?
It works.
Is that stock exhaust?
Yeah. All right, I know a lot of you guys are gonna be wondering, is there gonna be parts for sale from this car or the other car? The answer is yes. depending on when this video actually goes up, I will put in the description the parts that are for sale, roughly what I'll be asking for them, as well as an email to where if you're interested, you can contact Matt Schulman. I'll put his email in there. That way we know who's serious and who actually wants parts. We're gonna give preference to local people first, and then we'll ship the stuff that doesn't sell. But walking around the car, I can tell you the big ticket items that'll probably go first. The rear bumper has a small little crack here, but someone will probably buy this. Taillights are tinted out, so no one will probably want those. The trunk will be for sale. The Brembos on all four corners will likely be for sale because I think the ones on my car are still good. It has 3 good wheels. Inside, the interior is actually really clean, so I know that these seats fetch a pretty penny, as well as the Sync 3 or whatever it's called, the radio, the steering wheel, engine and trans I am gonna sell. It's funny because the smart thing to do would be to either put my body parts on this car, since it seems like the frame isn't really damaged, or to just pull the running drivetrain and put it in my car and just make a complete GT350. But no, we gotta make this cooler than that. So, if you guys look, I'll probably keep this fender because I'll probably use it on mine, so that's not gonna be for sale. It has 1 good door, and then under the hood, as you guys just heard, it is a running and driving 5.2 liter Voodoo engine. Now, I've seen these go from anywhere from 18 grand to 20 grand as a complete swap with harness, ECU, and trans. What I'm gonna sell it for, I'm not super sure. I know that you can use like a Mustang GT harness and like tune a GT ECU to work with it. I may have to steal some stuff from the harness on this if I wanna get everything to communicate with itself with the Barra. So I'm not sure exactly what will be included in the engine trans package, but I will definitely be selling that, and I'll try to put all the rough prices in the description. But I'm just hoping that I can make some money back so I can steal the parts off this that I need and not have an arm and a leg tied up in this car. Our friend Eric over at PSI got the Porsche up on the lift, and it's actually kind of surprising what the before spec is. So we're gonna be doing a race alignment on it, but kind of like a mild in between track and street alignment, and I'll kind of walk you guys through what we're gonna do. So notice from the factory, it's actually kind of surprising the camber difference between the front left and right and the rear left and right. There's about a ½ degree of difference, which is probably why the car's a little darty. The rear is about what I'm gonna have it at. It's got total toe in of, I believe, yeah, 0.3 degrees, which is about 1/8 inch. But the front has a bunch of toe in, and we're gonna basically go to 0 toe on that, leave rear toe alone, get as much camber as we can out of the front, and then a little bit less in the rear. What's really cool on these too is how adjustable all the factory stuff is. It's always so cool to me that these come factory with adjustable coilovers and a carbon sway bar. So a couple other new developments with the parts car. I found out that on the taillights, it was actually just tint that I was able to peel off, which is sick, because now these are worth probably an extra $150 or $200 compared to what I thought they were night shaded. But the real kicker on this car that I recently found out, from my post on Facebook, someone reached out to me that had actually worked on this car, and I found out that less than 100 miles ago, this car, under warranty, had its engine replaced. So if you aren't familiar, the GT350s, the very early ones, had issues where they would spin bearings, rod knock, whatever. And I thought I noticed that the valve covers on these looked a little bit different. So this is actually a brand new Gen 2 engine that has a cartridge style oil filter, has much better internals, and it's like brand new. So we lucked out, Alberto.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, I kind of screwed myself because now I want to keep it because it's like a sick engine, and we basically have a brand new GT350 swap. And I don't know if I want to sell it, because if I do, it would be, I don't know, maybe if someone gives me the right offer, I'll sell it, but I feel like I want to save this and put it in something else, like a chaser.
Is the Gen 2, like, instead of having the whole top thing, just has this little thing here?
Yeah, I thought that looked different too. So apparently with the Gen 2, it's also the same GT350 and GT350R, where I guess the older ones had a little bit of difference. It's mixed info on it. All I know is this is a way more stout engine, worth more money, less likely to have issues, and we have confirmed paperwork and photos that this was recently replaced. Poor guy that smashed the car up right after he got his engine replaced. Has less than 100 miles, and she's brand new.
This thing got headers in it.
Has aftermarket headers?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It does.
You sure?
It does. Yeah, look.
You know, you might be right, Alberto. Those welds down there don't really look that factory.
Right?
Huh. We have, well, no, we don't have the stock ones to compare to anymore. I think I threw them out.
Oh, yeah, stock ones have the, like, cast collector on it.
Yeah.
And you can tell how the stock one looks, obviously, but
It
see, once we lift it up.
It seems like it has headers with a stock exhaust, though. Maybe when the car got crashed, maybe he pulled his exhaust off. That's possible.
Yeah, the headers, I don't recommend trying to do on this thing. It's not the funnest of jobs.
So anyway, we're gonna pull the engine out of this. We'll get another closer look at it and start to figure out what we can rob from this for the other car. One bummer thing, the headlight mounts on this side of the radiator support are broken, which kind of sucks. But the fact that the rest of it's salvageable and this piece is really expensive, I think worst case scenario, if we have to make a couple custom mounts for one headlight, it's not the end of the world. Then we get to have the cool custom carbon fiber composite piece.
I noticed something different.
What?
These nuts are different.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, look, they don't look the same as the other car.
Looking for any excuse to say these nuts, huh?
It's true.
So we've, you know, obviously this video has been elapsed over a couple days. A lot of the parts already sold off the car, but what you guys will see in the description will be the updated list. There still is some stuff for sale, but I'm on the fence about whether I want to sell this engine now or not because it's literally brand new.
Keep it.
Keep it?
You know, I did have 240 to Coyote mounts, right?
Dude, but how cool would it be to have a 4-door chaser, 2 bucket seats in the back, powered by a GT350 engine?
You should buy another 240, then...
Chaser is what you said?
No, another 240, and then we put this engine on a 240.
Yeah, but a chaser is so much cooler. I feel like it suits the engine better, where 240s are small, and I hate big engines in 240s.
I already have motor mounts made for it.
But put them in a chaser. Listen to this thing purr. Listen to this thing purr. Good looking car. So believe it or not, this diff cooler up here is really, really expensive piece. I think it's like $1,600 new from Ford, and a lot of people buy them. So thank God there's only just a tiny little nick here, and it looks like it still should be fine. Don't you agree, Alberto?
Yeah.
Because the fins are all up here. That's just kind of the bottom plate.
I think there's the hammer real quick. Just hammer the $1,600 oil cooler.
But moving forward, we'll see there's a little bit of damage here. You can see when the wheel moved back, it kind of split this, what looks like it would be a pinch weld kind of in here. And then because of that, there's a little bit of damage there. The frame's pretty straight, so it's not the worst shell, but one other thing that we did notice is the headers are actually stock. I guess they just kind of have cool, neat little welds, and we got confused, but.
Maybe they're that brand new. Remember you said the engine is like 100 miles?
Yeah, maybe it came with different headers, I'm not sure. But anyway.
It comes with headers as a unit.
We need a chaser shell to put this in, Alberto. ASAP.
Why? Another chaser?
So one of the first things that sold off this car, it's actually a pretty penny. Sounds like a ripoff, but it's actually a really good deal for what they go for. I sold this actual like panel along with the Sync 3 system, which is a common upgrade for Mustangs. It sold for $800. So I'm taking it off, and ironically, it's kind of funny because it looks like whoever had the car started to try to take it off because they took this panel off, they took some of these bolts off, but then they got lazy because you have to use a trim tool and take off some of this stuff and take off the center console. But that piece is like probably one of the easiest things to sell from this car in addition to the recaros. First part out piece is complete. $800. Cha-ching. Alberto's been working on pulling the engine out of this one. One cool thing that he noticed, if you guys aren't familiar with this, one design on cars like this, they have these little flaps on the radiator. So the fans can suck all the air through and it won't open these up because the suction will like keep them closed and will suck air through and work like a proper shroud. But when you're going fast enough, it'll get to a point where the shroud would end up fighting the airflow. So the air will actually open these and you have a little bit better flow through the radiator. It's kind of neat. We're gonna try to reuse this one in the Barra. Hopefully everything fits up. It'd be really nice if it did. Alberto's definitely been becoming a Ford master mechanic over here with all these GT350 engines pulling out.
Please don't. No, never.
What? You don't like it?
No.
All right, I got a good question for you, Alberto. Would you rather pull a GT350 engine or a VQ?
VQ.
Really?
Yeah, as long as it's not VG30, then we're good.
Oh, what the
300 CX?
Yeah.
God, oh, if you get one of those, I'm not working on it. Johan's gonna have to do it.
What about a VR4?
Those are annoying too.
Yeah. Probably like the two worst motors to work on, huh?
I don't know why. Those are like the two big fails that got a lot of hype from the 90s that are terrible.
Well, they look cool, they just suck.
They look cool, but they're horrible to work on.
Yeah. Dang, that's a big motor. We were thinking maybe the reason why my engine wasn't as good is because mine wasn't hand built with pride like this one. That would make sense.
Like a GTR.
Yep. Alright, so now all we need to do is find a chaser shell to put this bad boy into. How do you feel about that, Alberto?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Show me how to do it.
I mean,
So apparently these are like 7 inches wider than an LS, and that's why they're very...
9.5 inches wider.
You know what else is 9.5 inches wider, Alberto?
Oh, I don't want to tell you.
You don't want to tell me? Nope. Got him. It doesn't even make any sense, but it kind of does. Alright, so this is going to be the end of this video. I think in the next one, we're going to be painting the engine bay of the GT350. So as I mentioned before, make sure you check out the description. I have a full list of all the parts that will be available. There's very specific detailed instructions on how to email Schulman. Please follow the instructions and make his life easy.
hopefully.
Yes,
Not
please.
Instagram DMs. No DMs on Instagram.
No.
Email.
But anyway, read that. Get excited for tomorrow's video, and as a reminder, if there's any parts that we don't have, make sure you guys check out the parts farm. They have a ton of GT350 and Mustang parts, and they were kind enough to help us source this car. So thank you, and we'll see you soon.